Broadcasting live from SETI Alpha 6 in the Andromeda Galaxy, this is Mr. C.
Well, happy Thursday to you. And you know what I'm going to say on Thursday? I can see the weekend from here, and so can you. So anyway, hey, number of do nows, just so we're all ready to go today. So hopefully you got your textbook. Bring your textbook every day. Homework in your lesson planner. It's up there on the board. So I'll speak slowly for a little bit while you're putting your homework in your lesson planner. It should be read and highlight pages 19 and 20, and read and highlight LS number 3, and then do 10 neat, complete bullet facts on a white sheet. Now we're going to use a number of white sheets today, so you'll need 2 white sheets for what's going to happen in just a minute. Oh no! And then you'll need a white sheet later for your bullet facts on, again, pages 19 and 20. Read and highlight those. Read and highlight lesson summary number 3 that Mr. Yank is going to pass out to you. And then put 10 neat, complete bullet facts. No skinny bullet facts. No skinny ones. Hey, a little weather note. We've just had a little moisture pop in that brought cloud cover last night. It seems like every time I mention looking at some observation in the night sky, it clouds up on me. So I think it's clearing up over the next few days. So you should have a good opportunity to, in the night sky, look for Jupiter and Saturn, the Galilean moons in the morning, to look for Mars and also Venus that are in the morning sky. Remember, Mars is way overhead and to the west, and then Venus high in the eastern sky early in the morning. Permission to go out and look either in the morning, early in the morning, or in the evening. Excuse me. A little bit of water went down the wrong way. Mr. C, do you still have allergies? I do. So anyway, any other do nows? Well, you've got your homework in your lesson planner now. And then red pen. You'll need a red pen at the ready. And I had promised a pop quiz, so here it is. Pop quiz rules, same as quiz or test rules. So please label one of your white sheets, name, date, period, upper right hand corner. Do that now. Don't even think about writing any of the pop quiz questions until in the upper right hand corner you've got name, date, and period. First and last name. Print it so I can read it. So anyway, every paper that you turn in, upper right hand corner, name, date, and period. Now if you'll number to 15 on that white sheet, you'll use the other white sheet for a cover sheet to cover up your answers. So 15, numbering to 15. Spread your numbers out. Sit up straight. Don't look to the left or right. Of course, no talking. No talking. I want to thank Mr. Yank for subbing for Mr. Gilbert, and keep praying for him that the Lord would allow him to get better. He's not been feeling so good, so pray for him that the Lord will make him feel better. All right, here we go. So I'll go slow. I'll repeat each one. So when I'm all done, I'll go back over and repeat. So you RLO students, so I'm taking my time for you as well. Okay, here we go. Number 1. The sun plus everything else. The Earth, the other planets, the satellites, meteors, meteorites, comets, asteroids, all of that. The sun plus the planets plus everything else going around the sun makes up the what system? Now, it's the kind of thing where you've got to know it. If you don't know it, first thing that pops in your head, it's always best to go with that. So the sun plus the planets and the moons and everything else, that's called the system. It's got a specific name, given it to you before. What's it called? Number 2, gigantic gas spheres. Huge gas spheres that are every way in the Milky Way galaxy. What are they called? We've got our very own one. Gigantic gas spheres. Spheres. It's estimated there's 100 billion of them in the Milky Way galaxy. What are they called? That was number 2. Number 3 now. In the night sky, when you look at certain stars, they make patterns, and they look like familiar objects here on Earth. So, like, for instance, we might look at them and say, oh, look, that looks like a bucket. Or, that looks like you name it. So, a familiar object on Earth. What are those called? That's number 3. When we imagine star patterns that look like a familiar object on Earth, so, oh, look at that, it looks like a tank. So what do we call those? There's a name for them. That's number 3. Number 4, objects that go around the sun. The major objects that go around the sun, not the lesser ones, the minority ones. The major ones that go around the sun. The biggest ones that go around the sun. What are they called? That's number 4. Objects that orbit the sun. What are they called? It's a one-word answer. The other ones are one-word answers as well. So that was number 4, objects that orbit the sun. Number 5, objects in the night sky look like they move from east to west, but it's only apparent motion. It's not the way it really is. Why is that? Objects in the night sky, we look up at them, and they look like they're moving. They rise in the east, they move across the sky and set in the west. That apparent motion. Why do they move like that? What's the reason? A short answer on that one. Excuse me, I'll be doing this the whole period. It's number 5. Objects in the night sky look like they move from east to west, but they don't. Why do they look like they're moving east to west? Give a little explanation, a few words. Number 5. Are you going to go over these one more time at the end? Yes, I am. Number 6. A chunk of space dust that's pulled in by the Earth's gravity and burns up in the atmosphere. As it encounters the atmosphere at high speed, and there's a lot of friction and heat produced in it, vaporizes. What do you call these tiny specks that run into the Earth's atmosphere, collide with the Earth's atmosphere, and burn up? There's a name for them. What are they called? Number 6. Most of them are dust speck size. That was number 6. Number 7, objects that orbit planets have a name. These are objects that orbit planets. So one word we use for them is satellites. I'm giving you the more difficult word. You have to give me the AKA, also known as what? Objects that orbit planets. We call them satellites. It's the other name, easier, informal name for satellites that orbit planets. What do we call them? That was number 7. Number 8, beautiful objects to behold. All of the night sky objects that I've named are beautiful and fun to look at. But this is one of the more beautiful ones. And in your lifetime, if you can see a couple of them that are like extra special, I think I've only seen about 2 in my lifetime. So these are objects that have a huge icy head that's miles across, and they come around the sun, and as they come around the sun, we see them here on Earth, and as they come around the sun, they heat up, and gases that, or material that's heated up, is turned into gases and has a long streaming tail behind it. Icy head, long streaming tail, sometimes millions of miles behind the icy head. What are they called? Beautiful objects. Icy head, miles across, gaseous tail trailing millions of miles behind. It's number 8. Number 9 and 10. Your choices are rotation and revolution. You may only use those answers once, either for 9 or 10. So is it a multiple guess choice? Yes, it is. This is number 9. What do we call the motion of spinning in place? Spinning. Objects spin. What's the name for that? They spin. That is number 9. The spinning motion. Planets do it. Satellites do it. Stars do it. Number 10. What do we call this motion? Where one object is held in by the gravity of a bigger object and they orbit that object. So it would be like a satellite going around a planet, orbiting a planet. Motion around a planet. That's number 10. It's called. Now number 11. I hope you enjoyed those Galileo videos. I love those Galileo videos that you saw on Wednesday. And I have 2 questions for you about Galileo. Later we'll talk about Galileo and what I really liked and want you to remember from those videos. We'll work with our journals in a little bit on those Galileo videos. Number 11. Galileo invented something really cool that made a massive difference in science history. What was his major invention? He invented a number of things. He was brilliant, a brilliant inventor, scientist. What was his major invention that he used to make some groundbreaking discoveries that basically changed scientific thinking forever? So that's number 11, his major invention. Number 12, he used that invention and he came up with a big idea conclusion. And he came up with his idea as he looked at, with his invention, which if I'm giving it away on purpose. So as he used his invention to look at the large moons of Jupiter, now called the Galilean moons, as he looked at those, something dawned on him. He eventually discovered 4 larger moons going around Jupiter. And he went, this is proof. This proves it. What did it prove? That's number 12. What big idea conclusion did he come up with? And gained from looking at the Galilean moons. Pretty cool. All right, 13 and 14, give me 4 JRs. 4 of the Earth's just rights. I mean, that should be a piece of cake. Give me 4 of Earth's just rights. None of it's an accident. I call them JRs. Earth's just rights. Give me 4. Give me 2 in number 13 and 2 in number 14. Don't write down just right. Just put down what the just rights are. 2 in number 13, 2 in number 14. Now number 15. What do the just rights prove? What do they prove? What's the major conclusion we make when we hear about all of these just rights? And you go, holy cow. It's amazing. It is. What does it prove? What is it evidence for? That's number 15. The just rights of 13 and 14 and all the others besides are massive evidence for what? All right, that's 15. That's it. I'm going to rapidly go over the questions again. So here they are. So if you've missed one, now look, if it doesn't pop in your head, a little more time isn't going to help. But I'll review them one more time. You either know them or you don't. So you can't say, well, I didn't have enough time. Yes, I took my time. This is the 3rd time I've gone over them. Number 1, the sun plus the planets plus the satellites plus everything that goes around the sun, all of that makes up the system. What system? That's number 1. Number 2, the gigantic gas spheres that are everywhere in the galaxies. They make up the galaxy. They're the major, unit of the galaxy. What are they called? Gigantic, hot, gaseous spheres. Number 2. That was 2. Number 3, we see a star pattern in the night sky, and we say it looks like a tower or any other familiar object on Earth. There's a one-word answer for that. What do we call star patterns that look like familiar objects that we see on Earth? That's number 3. Number 4, objects that orbit the sun. What do we call them? Number 4. Number 5, objects in the night sky. All of them that we look at. They look like they're moving from, and I'm pointing to the east right now. They look like they move from east to west. But they're really not. Why not? Explain why. Short answer. Well, they look like they're moving from the east to west because it's number 5. Number 6, little bits of space dust size objects that burn up in the atmosphere. What do we call them when they run into the atmosphere? There's a name for them. Number 6. What is that? Number 7, objects that orbit planets. We call them satellites. What's the other name for them? Any object that orbits a planet. A planet. What do we call them? Including Earth? Of course. It's number 7. Objects that orbit planets. Number 8, beautiful objects in the night sky. come around the sun and begin to glow. They're made of huge icy heads that are miles across, sometimes tens of miles across. But even more than that, they have million-mile long trails of gas. Incredibly beautiful objects. 9 and 10, you either use rotation or revolution. Number 9, spinning in place on an axis. What do we call it? It's number 9. Rotation or revolution. Number 10, orbiting another object, going around another object. What is it called? Rotation or revolution. That's number 10. Number 11, what invention did Galileo come up with? Major invention. Number 12, he aimed it at the 4 big moons of Jupiter, and he made a conclusion. What was his conclusion? What did he conclude? And then 13 and 14 give me 4 JRs, 4 just rights of planet Earth. 2 and 13 and 2 and 14. Should be easy peasy. 15. What do the JRs prove? What do they prove? It's a major thing they prove. 15. Okay, put that pen or pencil away that you just wrote your answers with, and you may only have out your red pen on the table. Just it. That's it. Initial down below, and I'm going to ask Mr. Yank to move around the room as you grade your pop quiz. Down below, initials down below, your promise to me and the Lord that you'll grade honestly. I will grade this quiz honestly. Initials. All right, here are the answers. Now, if you've got a question by yours, put a question mark by it, but I'm probably not going to give it to you if you don't nail the answer. In fact, I'm not. So don't put a question by it if it's like, you know it's not right. So here's number 1. Sun plus the planets plus the moons plus everything else. The solar system. Number 1, solar system. SOLAR. You got to come close in spelling it right. Number 2, gigantic gas spheres that are everywhere in the Milky Way galaxy, like our sun. Oh, stars. Number 2, stars. Obviously, no other answer. Stars. Number 3, night sky, objects that look like a familiar object on Earth. Constellation. No other answer. Constellation. Number 4, objects that orbit the sun, like Earth. Oh, planets. Number 4, planet. Again, no other answer. Number 5, objects in the night sky. All of them look like they move east to west. Why? Because the Earth rotates west to east. That's it. That's the answer. Because the Earth rotates west to east, it makes those objects look like they move east to west. Number 6, chunks of material that are dust speck size that burn up in the atmosphere. Meteors. Meteors, no other answer. How about meteorite? Nope. Meteorite is what's left over once it goes through the atmosphere. Meteorite hit the Earth. Meteors, though, burn up. Number 7, objects that orbit planets are called satellites, aka easy peasy moons, like our moon. Moon. Number 7, moon. Number 8, beautiful objects that have a thick icy head and a long, long tail of gas. Comets. Comets, no other answer. Number 9, spinning in place on its axis. Rotate, 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 or rotation. Nothing else. Number 9, rotation. Number 11, going around another object. Planets revolve, or revolution, around the sun. Moons or satellites revolve around planets. Revolve or revolution for number 10. Number 11, Galileo's big invention, a telescope. Number 12, there isn't any other thing. That was his biggie. Number 12, and then his biggie idea, his big conclusion, when he looked at the Galilean moons. He concluded out of that, here's what he concluded. He concluded that the sun is the center of the solar system, not the earth. The sun is the center of the solar system. That's the answer. The sun is the center of the solar system. Might be the hardest question on the test, maybe. All right, JRs for the earth. You only needed 4, 2 in 13, 2 in 14. Here they are. Just write distance from the sun. Just write rotation speed. Just write revolution speed. Just write mass. Just write gravity. Just write amount of water. Just the right gases in the atmosphere. Just the right thickness of gases in the atmosphere. Just the right strength of the electromagnetic field, which blocks harmful radiation from the sun. Just the right tilt, just the right temperature, all of those just rights. Just the right moon, just the right distance from the moon, just the right mass of the moon, just the right gravity of the moon, just the right mass for a star, just the right gravity for a star, just the right temperature of the star, just the right gases on that particular star. If I've left 1 or 2 out, which I probably have, put a question mark. I will look it over. So that's 13 and 14. Half a point each. You needed 2 in 13, 2 in 14. All right, 15, what do those JRs prove? There's got to be a creator. Because they're just right. It can't be random. It can't have accidentally happened. So there's got to be a God, or there's got to be a creator who made everything. Now, I'd like you to put the number you missed at the top. Look over the number you missed. I missed 3.5 or 3.5. Okay, put it up there. Put your score over 15 at the top. Number right over 15, fraction at the top. I missed 3.5. What would that be? 11.5 out of 15. So whatever your score was over 15, double check it. Make sure you got it right. Initial your score that you double checked it. Initial it up there. Okay. Pass it into the center, please. Mr. Yank will pick those up. Now I'm looking at the time. I didn't know exactly how long the pop quiz would take. It took a bit longer than I thought, but that'll tell me for future reference. So here's what we'll do tomorrow. We'll go over the videos, the Galileo videos, and we'll put like 7 key things from the Galileo videos in our journals. So, and also, I think we've got some, I've got some bullet facts I've got to collect from you yet. So we'll consider all of that tomorrow. In just a minute, when I turn you loose, you're going to stay at your seat. You're going to open your book to page 19 and 20. You're going to highlight the key ideas in page 19 and 20. And then lesson summary. Do you have it? I do. And lesson summary 3. Here it is. Lesson summary 3. Gravity and motion. Read and highlight it as well as 19 and 20. And then on a third weight sheet, I need 10 neat, complete bullet facts. Probably you're not going to finish in class, but you should get a lot of it done. So don't mess around. Today's not a day to go back and work with the activities. So book out, get rolling, don't mess around, get a lot done. So, and I expect to hear a good report from Mr. Yank tomorrow about how you handled this. So, and then we'll go over in our journal a section about Galileo. I have much to say about those videos. I will see you on Happy Aloha Friday. Mr. C, will you have an Aloha shirt? Does it snow in the Arctic? It's like a rhetorical question. Yes, indeed you do. Get going on that homework.